Let's begin with a simple question. If we asked a group of people how good they are at driving, decision-making, communication, leadership, or emotional intelligence, what do you think they would say? Most would answer, above average. And here is the interesting part. Mathematically, that cannot be true. Not everyone can be above average. Yet again and again, across cultures, professions, and age groups, the majority of people rate themselves higher than the average person. Psychology calls this the better-than-average effect. It's important to clarify something right away. This does not mean people are irrational. It does not mean they are unintelligent. It means that self-evaluation is not purely statistical. It is psychological. When we say, "I'm above average," we're usually not imagining a bell curve. In everyday language, the word average is not neutral. It often means mediocre, ordinary, unremarkable. So when we compare ourselves to average, we may actually be comparing ourselves to a slightly lowered mental image, not the true statistical midpoint. We are not necessarily exaggerating. We may simply be using a different definition of average. There is another reason this happens. We evaluate ourselves from the inside. We know how hard we tried. We know our intentions. We know the effort we invested. We know the obstacles we overcame. When we evaluate others, we only see outcomes. We don't see their internal struggle. We don't see their preparation. We don't see their context. This gives us an informational advantage about ourselves. And the more information we believe we have, the more confident we feel in our judgment. But more information does not automatically mean more accuracy. It often just increases certainty. There is one more important factor. The less measurable a skill is, the easier it becomes to overestimate. Think about qualities like empathy, leadership, communication ability, emotional intelligence, self-awareness. There is no daily scoreboard for these traits, no clear numerical feedback. So our evaluation depends heavily on internal perception. And perception is not the same as measurement. When criteria are vague, the mind fills in the gaps, usually slightly in our favor. This is not extreme narcissism. It is often a mild, adaptive uplift. A slightly positive self-view helps maintain motivation. It supports ambition. It stabilizes identity. The problem is not that we see ourselves positively. The problem begins when the gap between perception and actual competence becomes too wide. Because at that point, distortion interferes with growth. There is also something else happening. Confidence and competence do not grow at the same speed. When we begin learning something new, early improvement feels fast. Early success produces emotional reward. Reward strengthens confidence. But deep expertise requires time, feedback, correction, experience. So the confidence curve rises quickly. The competence curve rises slowly. That gap creates the illusion of mastery long before mastery actually exists. This is not a flaw. It is part of the human learning process. The real question is, do we become aware of that gap? Before we move on, I want you to pause for a moment. Think of 5 areas in your life where you believe you are above average. For each one, ask yourself, what objective evidence supports this belief? Who has provided external feedback confirming it? Is this skill measurable or mostly perception-based? What data would challenge my assumption? This is not about reducing your confidence. It is about calibrating it. The goal is not to shrink your belief in yourself. The goal is to align it more precisely with reality. Because self-evaluation is not neutral. And the more clearly you see yourself, the more stable your confidence becomes. In the next lesson, we'll explore how the ego protects identity, and why feedback can sometimes feel less like information and more like a threat.